When we go through pain, that pain really pushes us to our purpose. So, when I didn't do so well in that first test in medical school, my walk with God went to another level. And then it went to a whole nother level when my brother passed.
Hello and welcome to the Sweet Spot. Today is a great day, huh?
It is a great day. Listen, I got my prop today.
Watch out,
see
watch
the batteries?
out.
Yeah, the batteries on the table.
I see and
I'm charged up today. What? I can't wait for today's show. Now we'll get these out of the way. But I tell you what, I'm so excited. So you do the introduction. I'm almost taking over here, but man.
I know you're ready.
I cannot wait.
Well, I think I know why you're ready. Because today we have a Southern Belle in the house.
Woo!
And we are
Southern girl.
I'm telling you, our listeners are in for a treat.
A real treat.
They are in for a treat. Today we have with us, I'm so excited. We go way back. See, we're excited because we go way back. We go about 20 years back, okay?
Yes.
About 20 years back. But anyway, I am so excited to intro this young woman to everyone today. She is phenomenal. Her name is Dr. Renee. I love to call her just Dr. Renee,
yes.
but it's actually Dr. Renee Sunday. Isn't that a cool name, first of all?
It is, huh?
Dr. Renee Sunday. She has a whole day. Every week is Sunday.
Sunday. Every week there's a day.
Okay.
But I think every day is her day. When you get to know her,
because her
right.
personality is just so huge, right?
That's right.
It's amazing. But anyway, our Sweet Spot listeners, thank you so much for tuning in today. We are so excited. Today we have a special guest coming to you via Skype, and she is in Atlanta, Georgia. Her name is Dr. Renee Sunday. Now listen at this bio, okay?
Go ahead.
Listen at the bio. She's an ordained minister.
Ordained minister, okay.
Ordained minister. She's a personality host for television and radio.
So she does radio and television.
Okay. Her show is called Good Deeds in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, Good Deeds.
Okay.
That's
now,
a good thing.
Very good thing. But it doesn't stop there. It keeps going on. She's a platform builder, grief and loss specialist, group counselor, motivational and inspirational coach, passion and purpose guru. She's an author. She's a publisher.
Oh my
goodness. And listen at this. The icing on the cake.
Yes.
The icing on the cake.
Yes.
She's an anesthesiologist.
Oh my goodness. That's where the doctor comes in. I'm sorry, I called you Renee. Dr. Renee Sunday, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. And when do you have time to do all this stuff? We're so pleased to have you, Dr. Renee. Welcome to the Sweet Spot.
Well, thank you so much. This is an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much.
Well, we are so excited to have you on your show because your energy is infectious. Where did that come from?
I'm sure it was always inside, but as I've gone through trials and tribulations of life,
yes,
God has anointed me to bring joy to people. And I had to actually own my name. When you said Sunday,
yes.
Actually, when I say Dr. Renee Sunday, people get energetic, they smile, and they say, wait a minute, I don't know what I was upset about. I don't know what was going on in my life, but they actually have joy. So I had to walk into that.
That's
so
right.
Actually now it actually comes out more freely because I'm confident in my name and who I am.
Good. Can you say Dr. Renee Sunday for us? Just
Dr. Renee Sunday.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's what you're saying or how you say it, because you just bring joy. It's no question about it.
Exactly. She lightens up a room. She really does. Dr. Renee, we are so excited to have you. I've been trying to do this interview with you for a while. And thank you for accepting. Thank you for joining us on the Sweet Spot today. So we just want to get a chance to know who Dr. Renee Sunday is. If you could maybe start out just giving us a little bit about your background, where
How you
you
grew
grew up, family history, just so our listeners can get to know who Dr. Renee is.
Yes. Oh, wow. Thank you. But we can bring it all the way back. I know by now you figured out that I am a Southern Belle. I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. And let me just bring it on down.
Shout out for Alabama.
Alabama.
Alabama, woo, woo.
Yeah, sick. And let me tell you, District 6 had a lot going on. And
Okay.
had all these statistics that I wasn't going to, graduate from high school, that I wasn't going to go to college, that I wasn't going to be anything. I mean, you know what statistics I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
I mean, most of them wasn't a good statistic, but I actually grew up in that area. And I will always say I'm from that part of Birmingham, Powley, you'll know.
That's awesome.
But actually, some good comes out of that. We can bring the word in that. So some do come good out of the area that you were born. But I actually was born in a Christian background. My father, he's a deacon, and my mom has always been that one at the door. She's always been that usher. She's always been the one with the hospitality. And I've seen that firsthand because they will have people come into our home that they will give the basic necessities, the things we take advantage of.
Right.
Food,
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So I grew up seeing it, and actually, all of us got a story. Okay, we're gonna get to that.
That's right.
But I actually had the great foundation that they instilled in me. I still use the skill sets that they've given me. Like my mom would always say that you're beautiful, that you're wonderfully made, that I can do whatever I put my mind to, and God strengthens me and everything. And I use that.
Amen.
Comes, you actually have to make the right decision and don't feed on our emotions.
That's right.
But that always have guided me through everything. I went to University of Alabama for college, and then I went to Meharry for medical school. That's at Nashville, Tennessee. And then I did my training, my anesthesiology, anesthesia, and fellowship training in Tampa, Florida.
Oh.
So
wow.
I've been in this. Okay.
So we are connected in more ways than one. Alabama, that's where my roots are, my family. And then Tampa, Florida, that's where my family is now. Like, we're connected in so many ways.
So let's go back, if you don't mind. So growing up, what was growing up like in Birmingham, Alabama?
And did you have any siblings, Dr. Renee?
Yes, I actually have a sister, and it's so amazing. I'm going to just put it where it needs to be, what God orchestrates stuff. He's very strategic in the things that he do.
Right.
My sister is actually, she's 4 years older than me. So my mom, growing up in poverty, you can buy a dress every day, like we do now.
Right.
We go leisure to the different stores, but she liked it that every 4 years I graduated from, for example, college. My sister graduated from medical school, so it was kind of nice that she got 2 new dresses in 1 year. But I actually, it's amazing when you think back on it. But my sister is 4 years older, and I actually had a brother that was 6 years younger. He passed away about 5 years ago, and so I inherit actually being the middle child and the baby as one. I realized that I didn't want it, I'll be honest. I realized I was the Abraham of the family. Wow. And now I can really walk into that because that's what, I was called to. And so growing up in Birmingham, with all the history that we know about Birmingham, with the civil rights, I mean, just really the Bible Belt, all the things in regards of just Christianity.
Right.
Like I said earlier, I was always in church. I mean, some Sunday school, basic training union that we don't talk about.
Yes.
Yes, but I got that foundation of really being in the Bible. Also, we used to hear all the stories, and my parents would tell us all of the stories of what they went through in regards of civil rights, the things that they had to do in regards of transportation, the things that they couldn't do in voting, etc. So it was just amazing to hear the stories that actually instilled in us that we actually can do what we put our mind to. And we so grateful that they paved the way, and so many other people that we actually have done that. So really and truly, people say, you lived in poverty. Let me tell you, I really didn't realize that because we were very fortunate that we had a meal. We
That's
didn't
right.
have the name brand, all the name brands that we deal with now. But guess what? We had clothing, we
Right.
had shelter, and we actually had the basic necessities of life. But the main thing I want to reiterate, we had love, and
Oh,
that
wow.
love, we
That's
know what
it.
love
That's
does.
it.
And so we actually had that love for our family. So we actually, me and my sister and my brother, we excelled, and we didn't let those statistics hold us back.
Now you
That's
mentioned your
awesome.
sister. Now, what does your sister do?
Actually, she's a family practice physician.
I
She's
heard
been
you
doing
say
it for
she was a
about 20
doctor as
years now.
well.
Isn't that great?
Wow.
Yes.
So both of you are doctors.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow. So expound on it just a little bit. You say she's a family practice. She has a family practice.
Yeah, she's been practicing about 20 years now. It's so funny. We laugh about it now, but I used to be that nagging sister. I used to be the one, everywhere she went, I went. But my mom and dad loved that because, I was a tattletale. You could tell I could sell everything. And but she didn't realize that she actually was a pivotal part in my life, that I
Wow.
actually wanted to follow in her steps of being a physician.
Oh, that's
But then
awesome.
I did have my own identity to choose the field that I chose. But she's a great physician. She has that great bedside manner, and she really, really want to help patients, which all physicians do. But we got to be stern sometimes.
Well, that's beautiful. So you have two physicians. I didn't want that to pass if anyone
That's
missed it
right.
as you said it. The two physicians in the same family who come from an area that was maybe neglected might be the right word, and where there wasn't much expected of you. When you think back to those days, what are one or two important lessons that growing up in that environment taught you?
Well, I really, really learned, because that's people always ask me that, because anesthesiologists make pretty nice,
Yes,
and
sir.
they wonder how I dealt with that, because a lot of people have, quote unquote, the poverty mindset.
Mhm.
But my parents, let me tell you, I'll be honest. When I made a B, that wasn't accepted too much
All
in my
right.
family.
All
Right.
I
right.
mean, it was known that we had to excel and excel, very high. And that was just understood. And so my parents, my mom, actually, she was a great, she writes poetry, and my dad would always read the word and things. So I saw that. So we actually, and kids, we know, we do what our parents say.
Right. That's
And
right.
so what we see them doing, their behavior. And so that's why I'm very meticulous on certain things. And I learned from my parents to read. And as the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. And I do
Mhm.
that in my religious side, or spiritual side, and also in my business. But also what I learned is love people.
That's
Always
right.
help somebody else. Because
Amen.
when we didn't, I didn't have a stake till I probably got to college.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, when people don't have the basic necessities of life, a lot of things creep in, and they can't even move forward in their purpose. So I make sure I give back, and I had to learn a protocol in that, of course, but you always want to give back so I can help somebody else.
That's awesome.
That-
I can certainly relate to, the clothing thing and not having much, and what you just said. You didn't have a stake till you were grown. So I know where you're coming from, and when you talk about love, and when we grew up, we didn't have much either, and it wasn't until I was older that I realized that we were actually poor when I was younger. But because of that love that you feel and the love that you have with your family, you don't realize it, because love really is all you need.
And I think it was Mother Teresa who said that there's a poverty greater than having nothing to eat. That poverty is being unwanted, unloved, uncared for, forgotten. The opposite of that is actually being loved. And when you are loved, you are not in poverty, because
right.
you do have that love and consume it. Now, Pastor Renee, Dr. Pastor Renee.
I know, it's like, what do we call you?
Which
Pastor
title?
Renee, Dr. Renee?
So, Dr. Renee, you mentioned there, and I didn't want to lose this, that you are the Abraham of the family. And just I want you to speak to that a little bit. And then, in addition, when did you realize that you were the Abraham of the family?
Wow, that's a powerful question. actually, I didn't want it. Let me just, first of all, and we, I'll just be honest. Most people don't realize their calling until you're in it.
That's right.
We did have life situations in my family, from death, from people, just getting in trouble, just, anything you can imagine, could happen in our family. But I realized that my family, they would come to me because they knew I would actually give my advice that wasn't biased.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, hey, this is happening a lot, and it's happening with my friends. It's happening even people that I work with, etc. But I learned that actually that this is happening a lot. And so I found out that I was able, and the grace of God, that I was able to give them advice, not taking a side of one person or the other, especially when it had to deal with my family. So that continued to bloom, seriously, a lot in the different challenges we had in life. Even from, not having money, whatever you can name has happened in the family almost.
Right.
But, all of us have certain things we have to deal with. But then I realized when my spiritual life became bloomed, and I realized, and really the word, when I read the Bible, it just came out so that, and what the clincher, when I was in high school, because it started back, way back, I was the session leader of the clarinet session, and I was doing that for 4 years.
Wow, you
I was
played the clarinet.
Yeah. I was the president of the class, the class president for 4 years, freshman all the way up. And then I was part of the newspaper. So many things that I did was quote unquote leadership. And so I said, wait a minute, something going on here. So in my prayer time, God revealed to me, really that you need to stand and be a leader, that you actually need to really be the Abraham of the family. So, it's okay to go to, I love counseling, but the thing is, it's always good to have an ear in your family that you actually can go to that won't, be biased, saying, why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? Just to be able to pray first. See, I've learned that.
Yes.
Pray first.
Yeah, that's it.
And give the information, and don't bring it up again, especially in an open forum that actually will make them feel bad. So I own it now, and I'm of course, anything in life, we have to remember, you grow into it. You may not want to accept it at first, but as life goes on, you realize where you need to be, and you'll own that, and it works out very well.
That's amazing.
You speak with such wonderful joy and conviction combined together, and it's so pleasant. It's so wonderful to hear. When we listen to you, it sounds like this faith has been in you forever. But what was it like as a kid, and when did you really commit yourself to becoming a Christian and walking that life of faith?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good story here. No, I'm just kidding. I grew up in it, of course, the foundation. And I'll be honest, as a lot of kids do, you say, man, we in church all day. We on church all day.
I remember
Sunday.
saying
I was
that.
in the choir, the worship board. Singing in the choir. But the thing about it, I really enjoyed being, especially that basic training union. I hate we don't do that as much now, but that's when you actually learn. And they made it like a contest that who can find the scripture
that's it, quickest, right? Who finds the scripture the quickest? That's right.
But what I failed not to tell you guys when you actually asked that powerful question, what I learned in childhood, I actually used to be this big. My nickname used to be Olive Oil. They used to call me Sunday girl, the church girl. Back then we used to say, I can't remember the word we used to do back then. Now they call it bullying. But back then, they, teasing the other person.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had that. And then I forgot this part. I wore glasses. I wore glasses since the 4th grade. Wow. And so I was always called those names, and they were hurtful names. And so what I had to do is get that inside. And of course, when I went to my parents, they will always comfort me that what I just said prior, that I was beautiful, that I was wonderfully made, that I could do whatever, I put my mind to, that God strengthens me in the things that I do. But of course, everybody has their ups and downs. I went to high school, I was good. I was a good girl in high school. I was the class valedictorian,
Well, again,
But
see, all these things,
yes.
like, they just keep coming out. Like, this is amazing.
But let me tell you, I have to tell my bad side as well, because people need to realize everybody that I did have I think, what grade was that I actually had, I was in a fight. But the person said something about my mom, and that sparked something. And it was funny that the principal at that time, they can't do that now, but they would give you a paddle.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh my Lord, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I made sure from then on that I wasn't going to get in any trouble. But actually, when I went to really, really, truly, I continued in church. But let me tell you when that really hit me, when I went to medical school. Mm-hmm. When I went to medical school, I was, used to making A's, B's. But my first test in neuroanatomy, I made a C. I packed my stuff. It's funny to listen to. I packed my stuff and drove from Nashville to Birmingham. Told my mom I'm not going back because I made a C.
Wow.
And she said, well, did you think it was going to be this easy? Did you really think it was going to be this easy? God paved the way for you to actually be here, because I was truly blessed, because I got a lot of scholarships for medical school versus if you talk to any physician, it's at least $250,000 debt that you in when you go to medical school. But when my mom said that, we prayed, and I think that was the catalyst that got really my prayer life went to a whole nother level, because I'm like, Lord, how am I learn all this stuff? How am I going to do this? And actually that developed my prayer life. We end up having Bible study and those type of things at school. And I think that's really what got me going is when I went to medical school. And then I think God has a sense of humor. He really is. When my brother passed, that went to a whole nother level because come to find out, just shortly, I know I'm just a long answer, but come to find out, my mom revealed to me a month after my brother passed that he dreamed that I would be on the pulpit. Oh, wow. He didn't ever say nothing to me about it. And, and next thing you know, that's where I am. But it actually, it doesn't ever start there. Back in when I released my book on grief, this lady said, why don't you just stay in Nashville and do your first sermon? And I'm like, man, what this lady talking about? But I think, and I know this is bad to say, but it's the truth. When we go through pain, that pain really pushes us to our purpose. Mm-hmm. So, when I didn't do so well in that first test in medical school, my walk with God went to another level. Wow. And then it went to a whole nother level when my brother passed. And when I go through things and people pull on me, and what I mean by that, people want you to pray. That ain't nothing to play with. I don't take that for granted when people want you to pray. People want you to minister their congregation. That takes me to a whole nother level of study, because I want to make sure I say what God says, not what I want to say.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Oh, now I'm going to cut in here. I know you got a question, but I just got a quickie that I don't want to miss here. Can you give me the name of that class you got your first C in again?
Neuroanatomy.
Neuroanatomy? Neuroanatomy. Yes. Wow. So the anatomy of the neurological system.
Yes.
Okay. So I got a D in actually understanding it. Yeah. Wow. So that's amazing. Just trying to pronounce it all. It's just that's tough. That's impressive. That's
awesome.
Impressive. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so Dr. Renee, I do have a question. Now, you're telling us you grew up in Birmingham. Your family had your struggles. Didn't have very much. In medical school, once you got through that and you became a doctor, as a Black woman in the United States, coming from Birmingham, Alabama, how did you find being an anesthesiologist? How was that for you? How was that walk for you, being accepted around your peers?
And patients.
And your patients.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Now that's a powerful question, and I have to be truthful. I think, well, I didn't start my career right away. I actually, when I finished residency, my mom had breast cancer. And so what I did, like any child would do, I just dropped everything and, pretty much went back to Birmingham. And so I actually didn't work for a while because I was there for her. But actually, it was so interesting. The reason I bring that little tidbit up, my first job actually was in Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky.
And in Kentucky, that opens up a whole nother dynamics, I know.
It does.
But it was so amazing how people accepted me from the South. Let's be real. From the South, as me saying I'm Dr. Renee Sunday. But again, I think God has a great sense of humor because I'm saying, Dr. Renee Sunday, I'm your anesthesiologist. First, I'm making you smile because most people think about one or two things. The ice cream sundae or the day.
Right,
Sunday.
exactly.
Actually, overall, it has been a great experience. Over the years, people always smile. I actually had one person tell me, "This sounds like I'm an actress." If you say my name real fast, I said, "Wait a minute, that sounds like an actress name. Somebody we need to have on billboards."
It does.
I said, okay, I've seen that. But overall, it's been really nice, especially being here in the Atlanta area is really nice. And I'm not boasting by saying this, but I have at least 3 people, and 2 was my patients. Kids were with them, and they had questions about being a physician. And I actually had an opportunity of talking to them. Didn't realize what I was saying. I was just being myself.
Right.
They actually, one is already an anesthesiologist.
Wow.
The other one is finishing her residency coming up. And then another young lady is just starting medical school and want to be an anesthesiologist. So we don't realize what we're really doing, especially be yourself and always work out. But it's really, people have come in my path that I've been able to influence, knowing and not knowing. I mean, because that's the thing, we never really know our impact and influence on somebody else.
Wow, that's powerful.
That is powerful, and you've said so much. I don't like people to miss this, so I'm just going to. This is sort of the end of the first section of our show. We just getting started. So would you stay around a little bit longer, and we're gonna continue. But I just want to maybe just wrap up a few things. You talked today about not having a lot of stuff. Right, but you had everything you needed because you had love, right? You also talked about praying first. Before anything else, pray first. Having a strong prayer life. And you also talked about the pain pushes us through to our purpose. Now, we, as we go on, we want our listeners to tune in because we want to talk, we want to start a little bit about that pain. You've mentioned several different things. You've mentioned the death of your brother. You've mentioned your mother having cancer. You've mentioned other challenges, alluded to other challenges. We want to talk a little bit more about that challenge and then that the walk through those challenges, the strength through those challenges as we move on with the second half of the show.